In this video, we are going to talk about oral communication and give you tips on how to improve your oral communication skills. Oral communication skills are a part of what is commonly recognized in Canada as the 9 essential skills, which are the skills that people need for work, learning, and life. Oral communication skills are fundamental to the development of literacy and are essential for thinking and learning. Have you ever had someone misunderstand what you've said? What about hearing what you've said but misunderstanding what you've meant? Good oral communication skills can help with positive first impressions, healthy relationships, avoiding arguments, and even workplace success. But oral communication is a lot more than just talking. It's all about what you say, how you say it, and how well you listen. Many people use oral communication skills every day, like when we ask our coworkers how their night went, when we're shot calling in a video game like Overwatch, or when we are ordering something off of a menu at a restaurant. Some other examples of everyday oral communication include greeting customers, answering the phone, giving a presentation, or using Google, Alexa, or Siri. A good workplace example of oral communication is a school teacher who uses oral communication to teach students the required materials for a particular subject. For example, when a teacher is explaining to the class how to use a formula for a math problem, they are using their oral communication skills. This can also be an example for how oral communication skills are essential in education. As a student, in order to understand what you are learning and what is expected of you, an instructor must clearly communicate this to you. As a student, you must also be able to explain what you do or do not understand in order to further your learning and success. An everyday example of using oral communication skills is when we talk to the cashier at a store as we are checking out our groceries. But what is oral communication really? Oral or verbal communication describes any type of interaction between individuals which makes use of words and involves speaking and listening. It is a method of communication where speech is used to exchange thoughts and information between people. Just as speaking is an important component of oral communication, so is listening. Listening allows you to take notice of what someone is saying and respond accordingly. Active listening is valuable to oral communication as it shows you are making an effort to hear something and thinking through a response. Like any other skill, oral communication is a skill that can take some practice to improve. There are some actions you can take to improve your oral communication skills. The first is to slow down your speech, or speed at which you talk. This helps you to clearly communicate what you would like to say. The second is to vary your pitch. This means using different tones when you are speaking and avoiding a monotone or robotic voice. This helps people to understand what is the most important part of what you are saying and also feel about something. Number 3, don't interrupt another person. If you are having a conversation with someone, allow them to finish their thoughts before you begin speaking. Number 4, listen. Good communication is just as much about listening as it is about speaking. Listening is what the other person has to say can help you to know if they understand what you're talking about and if there are things that need to be clarified or re-communicated. This is especially important in a conversation where many of us miss important information because we are waiting for our turn to speak instead of hearing what the other person is saying. Number 5, face the person you are speaking to. This allows the person you are speaking to understand that you are listening to them and what they are saying. Number 6, use language the other person understands. Whether this be speaking in a language someone is comfortable with, like English or French, or avoiding certain slang terms, sometimes we have to adjust the language we use when we are talking to other people. This leads to our next tip. Number 7, Know your audience and what is acceptable to talk to them about. You may not always speak to a child or a grandparent the same way you would speak with your peers, so keep this in mind when picking a conversation topic. Number 8, take into consideration the environment and what your audience is doing. Some environments and locations can be distracting or challenging to entertain long or important conversations. And finally, number 9, follow a logical trail of thought. All good stories have a clear beginning, middle, and end. Oral communication should be just like a good story. Try to speak in sequence, meaning start at the beginning of a thought or story before you get to the end so others can follow along. This is much less confusing than jumping back and forth between different points in time. Another key to strong oral communication skills is understanding the topics you should and shouldn't talk about with most people. Some topics can be sensitive for individuals and may spark conflict or negativity. Let's look at an example. Sometimes we can share too much information or the wrong kinds of information. This happens more often when we are feeling stressed, nervous, or excited. Think about, what are you trying to tell the person? Start with the most important part. Why are you sharing this information? Include the reason you are telling them this. Who is your audience? Use the most appropriate language and only the facts that will matter to them. When is this happening? Past, present, or future? Don't focus on details that don't fit the timeline of what you are trying to communicate. And where is this taking place? Only include these details if it matters. So let's pick this apart and try to just look at the 5 W's. I won't be coming into work today. I'm sick. I'm going to the doctor. I'll call you this afternoon and will let you know if I'll be in tomorrow. When you start with the most important details, you keep the audience's interest and also keep the facts clear. Then listen. If they need clarification or more details, they'll ask. Oral communication is a fundamental building block for successful relationships and workplaces. Strong oral communication skills can help you to receive and share information better, define and understand goals, promote self-confidence, and avoid the negative effects of conflict or confusion. Employment services can help you improve your oral communication skills that are required in the workplace, education, and everyday life. They can also help you with your job hunt, making your interviews and portfolio more dynamic, and help you identify areas where you might need further training. LBS Essential Skills can help you identify where your strengths lay, how to adapt to changing relationships and social situations, and how to grow your oral communication skills to be competitive for work and education. Employment Ontario agencies work together in partnership to help provide the highest quality of support and referral for adults looking to work and upgrade their skills. Employment and Essential Skills services are made possible by funding from the Ministry of Labour, Training and Skills Development. Contact your local Employment Ontario partner today and get yourself on the road to your goals. Have questions? Please join us now for our live question and answer session with one of our local Employment Ontario partners, Community Learning Alternatives.